What's up, guys? This is Artem MMA Analysis, and this is my very first time looking at PFL 2022 number 3 regular season. The fights aren't for a couple of months away at the time I'm recording this, but I'm going to make the early picks. This is my first time looking at the card. I genuinely have not looked at the card so far, and straight up, I'm not really too interested in watching the women's 155 pound division too closely, because I do just genuinely believe Kayla Harrison is going to win the whole thing. I know that's pretty disrespectful, but I'm just going to be picking Kayla Harrison to win every fight that she's in. So yeah, I guess that's kind of is what it is, unfortunately. But let's look at a PFL debut for Vanessa Mello, and she is going to be fighting a lady that just fought a month ago on the Challenger Series, Martina Chindrova. She won a split decision over a 2-0 girl, and now they've decided to give her Vanessa Mello. And to by a surprise, she's fighting at 155 pounds. I actually don't know if PFL does have a bantamweight division, but they must not, because Vanessa Mello was fighting at 135 pounds in the UFC. Now she's moving up to PFL's 155 pound division, and she's going to be fighting a girl that's a bit more filled out than her, a bit bigger than her, who also weighed in at 155 in the last fight and is 5'8". I guess maybe that will make a difference, but I don't know how much weight Vanessa Mello had to cut to make 135, but I don't think it was actually too much, so I don't think she's more suited for 155. I'm going to trust her skill set, I guess. She did go 1-3, I mean, in the UFC, which, I mean, kind of is what it is, really. I mean, she still got cut off a loss, or maybe she left off a loss, but anyway, a lot of people are picking Mello to lose. I mean, I'm going to pick Mello to win, just because of the high-level experience she's had. Martina Chindrova, only 4-2, hasn't had much experience whatsoever, and the girls that she has lost to aren't as high level as the girls that Vanessa Mello has lost to in the last couple of years. So I'm going to be kind of trusting in that. I will pick Vanessa Mello to win a decision. Not a lot of confidence. And she is normally 135 pounder, fighting at 155. So definitely make that note as well. Abby Montez fighting against Alina Kolesnik. I hope Alina Kolesnik does well on this one here, but Abby Montez I do think is going to win. She's 3-0. She most recently beat Clarissa Shields by split decision in a fight, which I think Abby Montez did win, just by being a little bit more well-rounded, by using some takedowns as well. And hopefully the PFL just doesn't throw Abby Montez up against Kayla Harrison, which I know they definitely are going to do. But Alina Kolesnik on a 4-fight losing streak. She hasn't won a fight in 5 years, and I personally don't see her winning this one here. I do think Abby Montez, will get this win in this fight here, just by being quite well-rounded, using some takedowns. She'll win a decision. I mean, Kolesnik did get knocked out by Larissa Pacheco, who does have hands, who does have power in the hands, so maybe Abby Montez could get a TKO, but I'm going to pick an Abby Montez just to win that one here. Gleison Tibau versus Jara Hussein Al-Sawawi. Gleison Tibau by very controversial split decision. I mean, how did he win that Rory McDonald fight? Those two judges that gave it to him definitely had money on Gleison Tibau. There is absolutely no way he won that fight, man. Oh god. But Jara Hussein Al-Salawi, I mean, you got to watch out for that, because if Gleison Tibau is a big underdog, Jara is going to have to get a finish, because these judges, man, you kind of got to watch out for them a little bit. But he beat Michael Lilly by KO to get into PFL, and prior to that he was beating very good levels of competition. He did have that loss to Abu, which a lot of people think he won, and then he came back and knocked him out to redeem that win. So obviously PFL has snatched up this great prospect. I mean, it was probably a matter of time before Jara Hussein did actually get onto a big stage, and PFL seems to be the big stage for him this year, so hopefully he can do well. He's fighting Gleison Tibau, who I mean, he's quite well-rounded, but he's an older guy, he's a slower guy, and he's not really throwing that much volume anymore. Jara Hussein, I feel like if he does have success, it will probably be on the feet. I feel like we might be seeing a Hussein KO. If the fight goes to distance, though, I mean, pray for Al-Salawi, because there's a lot of controversy regarding that Rory McDonald decision, man. Like, that's terrible. Excuse my language. Larissa Pacheco versus Zamzagul Fali Zelenova. I'm very sorry for unpronouncing that, I guess you could say, whatever that even means. But Zamzagul was meant to make her debut last year. Unfortunately, her fight did fall out. I think she was meant to fight someone else, and she was favoured to win that fight as well, actually, and a lady that made it quite far in the PFL last year, Marina Moraes. She's meant to fight Marina Moraes. It didn't quite end up happening. Now she's fighting Larissa Pacheco in 2022. I'm going to be picking Larissa Pacheco to win this one. She does have power in the hands, and she does have very good stand-up. She did knock out Elena Kolesnik. She knocked out Julia Pajic. She did lose to Kayla Harrison by decision. I mean, she made it the distance with Kayla Harrison, which actually, at this point, is kind of respectable. And she did beat, like, pretty good levels of competition a couple of years ago, I guess. And she's still young. She's still improving. Same as Zamzagul, but she hasn't really fought that often. Only had, like, one fight in the last, about 4 years. Yeah, I'm picking Larissa Pacheco. I'm going to be picking Larissa Pacheco by KO on this one here. I do think she's going to get the job done. Sadibou Sai versus Nikolai Alexishin. Sadibou Sai is a rangy striker, but to be fair, that's kind of really all he does well. He had two kind of weird situations. He had a draw with Ray Cooper III, who ended up winning last year, and then he had like a no contest with Nikolai Alexishin. But now he's kind of coming back, and he did beat Alexei Kunchenko, who unfortunately isn't as good as what we thought he was. He signed, I think, 20-0, went on a 3-fight losing streak straight after, and he did lose to Magomed Kirimov. I mean, Magomed Kirimov made it to the finals last year, so, I mean, not really bad losses to have. Nikolai Alexishin, on the other hand, did lose by decision to Ray Cooper III last year, who went on to win. Oh, I just realized, man, I'm an idiot. This is a rematch from the eye poke last year. Okay, I need to watch. I need to just shut up and not be an idiot and watch that fight again. But yeah, Sadibou Sai, rangy kickboxer. I feel like Nikolai Alexishin is a little bit more well-rounded. I'll just trust Nikolai to get the job done. I'll pick him to win by decision. I feel like Sadibou Sai, if he's gonna win, he's gonna have to get a KO on the feet. Gina Fabian versus Julia Budd. I would love Gina Fabian to win. She's from New Zealand. I'm from New Zealand. She's actually quite an exciting fighter. She did knock out Julia Pajic, and prior to that, she had knocked out Marielle Chaniski. She's got power, I guess, in the hands. She's got good kickboxing. She's from City Kickboxing. But Julia Budd, man, Julia Budd's kind of been around. Like, she's always been in a Bellator for a while. I think she's a multiple-time title challenger. She fought for the UFC, am I correct? No, she did not. I'm an idiot. She fought for Strikeforce. That's what I'm thinking. She fought for Strikeforce way back in the day. Went on a crazy win streak, and then ended up losing to a Chris Cyborg, where yeah, so she was defending her belt there, lost to Chris Cyborg, and then got knocked out in the 4th round, and then since then went on a decent kind of win streak, beat Caitlin Young last year to get into the PFL, and here she is. She's fighting Gina Fabian. Gina Fabian unfortunately got smoked by Kayla Harrison. She's kind of just got kickboxing. I feel like Julia Budd, she's kind of seen it all, and I'm going to trust Julia Budd to win a decision here. Fabian probably could get a knockout on the feet because it is women's 155. These ladies are a lot bigger than the 135s you see in the UFC, but I'm going to be trusting Julia Budd on this one here. Magomed Kirimov versus Jairo Zafrino. I'm going to pick Magomed Kirimov. He was in the finals last year against Ray Cooper III. He was arguably favoured to win. I think it was actually favoured to beat Ray Cooper III, but then he got knocked out in like the 3rd or the 4th round. Jairo Zafrino most recently fought last year against Jason Pernay. He beat Gleison Tiro by decision. Very rare occurrence these days. He must have had a dominant performance for the judges to not give that to T-Bow. And then, or maybe T-Bow was the favourite and they had money on Jairo Zafrino. Maybe. I mean, anyway, point is, like, this guy's been in the PFL for years. He's 36 years old, though, and I'm just going to be picking Magomed to win. He's going to be a lot bigger in the cage as well. He's going to be able to use his style very well and very effectively by being much, much bigger than Jairo by, like, multiple, like, 10 centimeters. I don't know how many inches that is. I think it's like 3 or 4 feet, 4 inches. Magomed Kirimov by decision or submission, probably. Brett Cooper versus Rory McDonald. Two guys that had a Bellator run. I mean, but Rory McDonald fought in the UFC for a while, and then he fought for Bellator, and now he's in PFL. Brett Cooper had a very, very long run in Bellator quite a few years ago, but most recently he has not really been fighting too often. I mean, he's been relatively active, but what I'm trying to say is, like, he took about a year and a half between that PFL fight and the ACA fight, and he only won that fight by DQ. So, I mean, it is what it is, but, you know, he made his Bellator debut back in Bellator 15 back in 2010, and then he came back and he went on a decent run in Bellator, and then must have got cut from the promotion, kind of went around fighting against different guys in different promotions, ended up in ACA, now he's in PFL fighting Rory the Red King. I'm going to pick Rory McDonald, man. He's had a very unfortunate run in the PFL. He's 1-2, I think. He beat Curtis Melenda, and then he lost to Gleison Tebow in a fight he won, like no doubt in my mind, and then he lost to Ray Cooper III. Ray Cooper III just out wrestled him pretty much and just showed off a little bit more of like a well-rounded skill set, I guess you could say, in that one. He played the more safe fight. I'm going to be picking McDonald to win decision. It's about time this guy got a win in the PFL, man. They robbed him so bad with that Gleison Tebow fight. It is brutal. Miles Price versus Anthony Pettis. This fight has been rescheduled. It was meant to fight in PFL 1. I don't know why it's been rescheduled to the 170 and women's 155 pound card, but it has been. As I said earlier, I'm picking Anthony Pettis, and I do feel like this is potentially, like, a lot of people think that this is a setup for Anthony Pettis to get a win in the PFL, but a Miles Price isn't a bum, man. He's beaten good guys, 11-4 Peter Queally back in the day, and 8-6, 8-2 guy, but this is like a long time ago, man. This guy hasn't fought for 3 years. And then since then, before they took like another like decent layoff in between. Like I'm not really gonna trust that from Miles Price. I think Anthony Pettis, like, he's been more active. He did lose to Clay Collard and Raush Manfio, but before that he was kind of winning in the UFC still. So yeah, you know what? I'm gonna be picking Pettis to win the fight. I don't think that he's done, but I just don't think that he's in his prime anymore. I feel like Miles Price hasn't fought for 3 years. I feel like that's kind of enough to kind of tell me that Anthony Pettis should get the win here. Ray Cooper III versus Magomed Umalatov. I'm going to be picking Ray Cooper III to win this one here. He's going to beat the undefeated Russian. I think Umalatov is a good prospect for sure, but I am going to trust Ray Cooper III. He won the $1 million last year by knocking out Magomed Kirimov, and before that he did beat Roy McDonald, Nikolai Alexashin, and submitted Jason Pernay. I think he's actually more like a multiple time winner in PFL, if I'm not mistaken, so he's actually quite good. He's very short for the 170 pound division though. He's only 5'7" with a 70-inch reach, but he does pack decent power in the hands, and he's got a pretty decent well-rounded skill set. He does have wrestling if he needs to come to it. Magomed Umalatov, on the other hand, I don't really know anything about him, but he has beaten pretty decent levels of competition. He knocked out Kyron Bowen with an overhand right, but for all that, he was fighting Eagle FC and Gorilla FC, which is also Eagle FC. But anyway, no, he looks like PFL snatched him up. I'm going to be picking Ray Cooper III to win the fight. I feel like he has fought more high-level competition, and he's also the winner of last year. You know, you got to pick that winner. And now Martina Moknatina. I feel like Martina Moknatina will get like low-key slept on, like, in a way. Because I think she does also have like an insane judo background, if I'm not mistaken, but she's just not going to be the same level of Kayla Harrison. You know, she's like a 2-time gold medalist, I believe. She kind of just does the same thing to her opponents, takes them down, ground and pounds them out, or submits them. As always, Kayla Harrison inside the distance. Yeah, Kayla Harrison's going to win this fight probably in the first or second round. I mean, shout out to Marina for taking the fight, but this just ain't happening, man. Kayla Harrison, she really should have signed to Bellator or UFC. I don't think anyone really cares to see her here. Maybe she just doesn't want to cut the weight to 145. You know, like, the thing is, UFC probably would have kept the 145 pound division if Kayla Harrison signed for them, and they didn't. So I feel like Kayla Harrison not signing for the UFC has kind of killed off the UFC's 145 pound division, like, low key. You know, there's 3 fighters in the UFC 145 pound division. Doesn't make sense. But anyway, so Kayla Harrison inside the distance, submission or KO. Marina Moknatina does kind of stand a chance, I guess, but level of competition that she's won and lost to it just isn't the same, you know. So Kayla Harrison, she beat Taylor Guardado 3-1. Like, this is the level of competition she's beating, man. This is why everyone's calling her like a certified can crusher. Like, no disrespect to these girls, but like, Taylor Guardado made it to the finals and she was 3-1. Gina Fabian, I mean, Gina Fabian's pretty decent, like, in my opinion, just because she's from New Zealand, but still, like, 4-1, 16-6, 16-10. Like, she's not beating like the highest levels of competition in the world. Like, she really should just sign to the UFC or Bellator. But I feel like she's just scared of getting knocked out by Chris Cyborg, and she's scared of getting knocked out by Amanda Nunes. Like, honestly, I mean, like, why not? You know, she's gonna make an easy $1 million this year. I can respect it. PFL 2022 number 3. It's my first look at the card. Let me know how you thought in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.